All right. President Trump strikes a border security plan with the top Democrats last night, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. But there's a lot of questions about the deal and the promised border wall. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Michael Tobman and political consultant Harlan Hill. Harlan is also a member of the Donald Trump for President Advisory Board. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Good to be with you.
All right, Harlan, if you could just explain what happened last night with Trump, Pelosi, and Schumer. What does the deal that they have to protect Dreamers look like? And is the wall part of that deal?
Well, I believe that a prerequisite for any deal to provide any sort of amnesty or relief to DACA recipients on a permanent basis would, a requisite for that would be something with the border wall. And I think that that would be a core tenet of the president's campaign that he could provide to his base as a justification for signing on to this deal. I know the president wants to make a deal with Democrats on DACA because to his core, he's a good man. And he wants to show compassion for the million or so DACA recipients that, through no fault of their own, are basically Americans but don't have the rights and privileges that you'd expect. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to do the right thing, but he's got to balance that responsibility as president of the United States with his base. And it's a tall order.
Right. Michael, do you think that the president is placing his priorities on the agenda in maybe protecting Dreamers in this case over party alliances?
No, I don't think it's binary in either or. I agree with Harlan only in so much as there's a prerequisite to getting a deal, which is that everybody compromises. And compromising in policymaking and in governing is a strength, not a weakness. I don't see this as capitulating to anybody. I don't see this as turning the president's back on his base. This is about getting things done. Everybody gets something and nobody gets everything that they want. Border security is important, but so are protections and civil rights and freedoms, and protecting DACA students and children's and Dreamers is a part of that.
Quick follow-up here for you, Michael. What do you think Republicans can get if they don't get the wall in terms of border security? Do you think we can see extra surveillance at the border or, more targeting of illegals in the country? Do you think they'll get something?
Sure. I think that there will be something that will be colorable and will be able to be referenced as a success. But ultimately, what speaks to voters and people that put their trust in the president and those that selected Senator Schumer, my former boss, as the Senate Democratic leader, is the ability to get things done. And in this case, I think everybody came to the table with the best of intentions.
Talk about the ability to get things done. I mean, we are so ahead of the deadline here. Congress has 6 months to do this. They have until March, and they're talking about it already. What do you make about that, Harlan?
Well, that's because the president has put this process into receivership because Republicans on the Hill have proven that they're totally incapable or unwilling to govern. And so he said, you know what, if Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan can't do the job, then I'll step up to the plate and I'll do their jobs for them. And that's what he's done. That's why he invited Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to the White House last night to have dinner and to work through this issue. But I'm going to push back on something that was just said. It's important that the president is giving a really big item to Democrats here. It's important that whatever they come to the table and offer him, whether it's the wall or something else, matches that. This is a big political win for Democrats. They need to give him something of at least as much value to his base.
All right, speaking of Democrats here, I want to move on to what's going on with health care. Bernie Sanders had a plan, very little chance of becoming reality, but basically it's a single-payer health care system that he's proposing. There's a Quinnipiac poll out that says 51% of people that they asked, respondents, said it's a good idea to replace the current health care system, Michael, with single payer. Is this a way the Democrats are trying to position themselves for the midterms? Can you really see this going through? We're seeing some Democrats even distance themselves from this.
I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of angry tweets from my former colleagues.
But do it anyway.
I don't see this as practical, and this isn't even about the midterms. This is about jockeying for the Democratic presidential primaries in 2020. I think this is the activist tail wagging the larger Democratic dog.
No.
Last time I checked, we still live in a market economy, and I believe that repairing and keeping the ACA, Obamacare, is more important than pursuing something that is, I think, not tenable and doesn't speak to the totality of the Democratic Party and swing voters.
I
ahead,
believe
Harlan. 10 seconds.
you're absolutely wrong. I believe that the Democrats are going to win on this issue in the long term, looking 10 to 15 years out. I believe that we're on a collision course with socialism because both parties have proven that they're unwilling or unable to come up with real, true, comprehensive health care reform.
So
we're on a
wish
collision
we had
course
more
with it.
time, guys. I really do. Michael, Harlan, thank you so much for this debate this morning.